Chapter 2, Forced Partners. The bell rang, signaling the end of another school day. Haruto packed his sketchbook away, still turning over the events of the day in his mind. Despite the unexpected encounter with Sakura under the cherry tree, he had managed to retreat into his own world, the one he knew best. The one where nothing and no one could reach him. Or so he thought. Haruto, wait up! Kaido's voice broke through his thoughts as his childhood friend caught up with him at the school gates. Kaido was the polar opposite of Haruto, loud, outgoing, and always eager to drag Haruto into whatever trouble he was up to. Today was no exception. What's up, Kaido? Haruto asked, adjusting the strap of his bag over his shoulder. You wouldn't believe what Yui's up to today, Kaido grinned, his eyes gleaming with mischief. She's doing that thing again. You know, the forced partnership game. Haruto rolled his eyes. The student council president, Yui Nakamura, had a strange sense of humor. Every year, she assigned random pairs to plan and organize the school's spring festival. No one ever got a say in it, and the result was usually a chaotic mess of mismatched personalities. You're telling me she's doing that again? Haruto muttered. I thought she gave it a break this year. Apparently not, Kaido chuckled. Come on, let's go see which unlucky pairings she's got for this year. As they entered the student council room, the air was thick with excitement. Yui stood at the front, her usual confident smile plastered on her face as she announced the new pairs for the festival planning. All right, everyone. Time to find your partner for the festival project, Yui said, holding up a list. This year, I've decided to throw a little twist. No one gets to choose their partner. Everyone will work with whoever I assign. Haruto groaned inwardly. He was used to Yui's antics, but this year felt different. As if sensing his discomfort, Kaido nudged him with a playful grin. This should be fun, don't you think? Haruto said nothing, choosing instead to keep his eyes on the list as Yui began calling out names. First was Kaido, who was paired with a girl from the drama club. Then, as the list continued, Haruto found himself staring at the inevitable. Haruto Soma paired with Sakura Aizawa. The words hung in the air for a moment, and Haruto felt an unexpected knot form in his stomach. Of all the people he could have been paired with, it had to be her. The girl who had interrupted his peace earlier, the one with the icy gaze and sharp tongue. Sakura, for her part, seemed unfazed. She simply stood up and walked over to Haruto without a word, as though it was the most natural thing in the world. This should be interesting, Kaido whispered to Haruto as the two of them made their way to a corner of the room. You two are like oil and water, but maybe that'll make it funnier to watch. Haruto didn't respond, still trying to wrap his mind around the situation. He had always preferred working alone, but now he was stuck planning the festival with a girl who seemed to have no interest in anything beyond her own world. As they sat down at a table, Sakura immediately pulled out a notebook, flipping through it with her usual air of indifference. Haruto, not wanting to just sit in awkward silence, cleared his throat. So, do you have any ideas for the festival? He asked, trying to break the tension. Sakura looked up from her notebook, her gaze sharp. You're the one with the art skills, aren't you? She said, her voice cool. You can make the decorations. I'll handle the writing, poetry, announcements, whatever. Haruto raised an eyebrow. You think that's all there is to it? Sakura shrugged, her eyes returning to her notebook. I'm just suggesting something. If you have a better idea, feel free to speak up. Haruto wasn't sure how to take her bluntness. It wasn't exactly hostile, but it wasn't friendly either. He was used to people being polite, even if they didn't want to be around him. Sakura, on the other hand, was a puzzle he couldn't quite figure out. She didn't seem to care about what anyone thought of her, and that alone made her different from most people he encountered. They spent the next few minutes in silence, the only sound in the room the scratch of pens and the occasional shuffle of paper. Haruto found himself sketching aimlessly in his notebook, his mind wandering to places it didn't belong. He kept stealing glances at Sakura, trying to figure out what made her tick. You know, she said suddenly, breaking the quiet again, I'm not exactly thrilled to be paired with you either. Haruto blinked, caught off guard by the bluntness. Yeah, I can tell. Sakura didn't even look at him as she continued flipping through her notebook. I don't do well with people. Especially those who want to keep everything to themselves. Then why do you even talk to me? Haruto muttered, his voice more curious than confrontational. Sakura paused, her eyes flicking up to meet his for the briefest of moments. I don't know. Maybe because you're different. Before Haruto could ask what she meant by that, Yui's voice interrupted them. All right, everyone. The festival is in 1 week. Get started on your plans, and don't slack off. Sakura stood up immediately, packing her things. This will be fun, she said flatly, her eyes scanning the room as if she were already mentally checking out. Haruto, feeling the weight of her words, watched her leave the room without another glance. He couldn't help but wonder what exactly she meant by that. Fun? They couldn't have been more different. And yet, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to her than the aloof exterior she wore so well. As he gathered his things and followed her out of the room, he had a strange, nagging feeling that this forced partnership might turn out to be more complicated and more interesting than he ever expected.